Hi, welcome to this video where we will be attempting the Cambridge ICT practical paper. And before we do get started, just reminding you that this is the 0417 syllabus paper that we're going to be attempting. So the year is 2021 March, and this is paper 2, okay, variation number 1. So over here, I have the question paper. This is the question paper over here. It's a 2-hour, 30-minute question paper over here. And it has the document reduction question, a data manipulation question, and a presentation question. Okay. So for document reduction, we will be using Microsoft Word. For data manipulation, we will be using Microsoft Access. And for presentation, we will be using Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. So let's get moving. Let's get started. So over here, before you do get started, you must ensure that you have these data files with you. Okay, because you will be required to use these data files throughout your practical paper. So over here, I do have my data files with me. Okay, so I'm good to go. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we are supposed to create an evidence document. Okay, so over here, it says to open this particular document, M21 evidence. I'm required to open it. And in this document, I have to put my name. I have to put my center number, candidate number, will appear on every page of your evidence document. Okay, so if you want something to appear on every single page, it would be good for you to have it either in the header or in the footer. Okay, and thereafter you have to save this document in your work area with the following name followed by your candidate number. Okay, so let's get started on that. Okay, so over here I'm going to open up M21 evidence. This is the file they were talking about. And I'm immediately going to go into the header. Okay, so I'm going to double click, and here the header opens. This is the header area. So when I double click, the header opens. And according to the question paper, I have to type my name, center number, and candidate number. So let's do that. Name. So for now, I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 because I do not have a center number or a candidate number. So I'm just going to keep it at 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my work in the header is done. So I'm going to click on close header and footer. And the next thing I need to do is they told me to save it as M21 evidence along with my candidate number. So I'm just going to come and click over here, file, save as, and you can click on browse. Ensure you are in the same folder where the rest of your data files are. Okay, please do make it a habit to have all your files in one place. Okay, so it's already in the 2021 March 21 folder. So over here, I'm going to keep a space and I'm going to put my candidate number. For now, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to click on save. Okay, so that's done. Right, now moving on to the next document, task 2. Okay, so over here, you are going to edit the document where paragraph styles have been applied. Some of these styles will need to be edited. Okay, so using a suitable software package, open the M21 labprac.rtf. Okay, save the document in your work area with the file name M21 lab work. So I need to change the name to lab work. Make sure it is saved in the format of the software you are using. Okay, so let's go and open up. Let's go and open up this particular document. So I have this document over here. And when I open it up, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on file. I'm going to click on save as, browse. And over here, I'm going to change this to the name that they gave me was lab prac. Okay, so lab work. I need to change it to M21 lab work. Okay, so let's remove the word prac. And let's put the word work. Okay, and they also told me to you can keep it in rich text format. That's all right, but they specifically mentioned make sure it is saved in the format of the software you're using. So since I'm using Microsoft Word, I'm going to save it in Word document format. Okay, I'm going to keep it in that particular format. So I choose Word document and I click on save. Okay, so now it has got slightly stuck. Okay, it's warning me that your your document will be upgraded to the newest file format because you changed the format, and that's all right. I'm going to say okay, no problems. Okay, that's done. Then moving on to the next part, it says in evidence 1, place in evidence document a screenshot to show this file has been saved. Make sure there is evidence of the file type. Okay, so can be done. When I come into my folder right now, in my folder, I'm in a view where I can see the files and I can also see the file type. Now, you may not have such, you may be in a different view. So you can always come in your folder in File Explorer, you have a view button, you have a view option. When you click on view, you can choose different views from over here. Okay, so you're right now in large icons. Okay, this is also all right because you can see the file name, you can also see the file type. Okay, I prefer to go into a details view, okay, where the file name, the date modified, type, size, everything is clearly visible. And I'm going to take a screenshot of this particular view. Okay, so Windows Shift S is the shortcut key for print screen. Okay, to take a screenshot. So let me take a screenshot from here to here. And I'm going to go into my my evidence document. Keep the cursor below evidence 1. Let's zoom in over here so you can see me pasting it. So right now it has been the screenshot has been taken. Now I'm going to come and paste it over here by pressing Control V. Control V is a shortcut key to paste. Okay, so now my screenshot has been pasted. Now moving on to the next thing, it says set the paper size to A4, page orientation to portrait. Okay, so paper size should be A4. So I'm going to go into layout, and size. I'm going to make it A4. Okay, choose A4 over here, and the orientation should be, orientation should be portrait. So right now the orientation is landscape. I'm going to change it to portrait. Okay, that's also done. The next thing it says is set all the top margin to 3 centimeters and all other margins to 2 centimeters. So the margins are the 4 sides of your page. So this is the top margin area, this is the left margin, this is the right margin, and this is the bottom margin. Okay, so these have to be changed. And apparently the question paper told us the top margin is supposed to be 3 centimeters, while the others are supposed to be 2 centimeters. Okay, so when you come into the layout tab, you have margins over here. And right now you can see all of them are 1 inch. The moment you see double quotes, you need to understand that the unit is inches. So I'm going to come on to custom margins because I want to enter my own values. And over here, I'm going to change the top to 3 cm. Okay, bottom is going to be 2 cm, left is going to be 2 cm, and right is going to be 2 cm. Okay, ensure you put the unit so that your computer will automatically convert it into inches. Okay, now you can go ahead and click on OK. And now, you know, the margins have been adjusted as well. Now over here, you're supposed to take screenshots to show settings for the paper size, page orientation, and margins. For these 3 changes, you're supposed to take a screenshot. So what I'm going to do right now is if I come here and click on margins, and if I come to custom margins, over here, I can take a screenshot showing the margins and the orientation. Isn't it? I can take a screenshot showing the margins and the orientation. However, I may have to take another screenshot to show that I have changed it to A4 size. Okay, so let's get started. Windows Shift S is a shortcut key for screenshot. And I come here, I take a screenshot. And I'm going to have to cancel this because while this is open, I can't go into another Word document. So let me cancel this. And let's come over here. Come to evidence number 2. Enter Control V. Control V is to paste a screenshot. And now I'm going to go back and take another screenshot showing the paper size. Okay, so either I can even take it from over here. I can even take the screenshot from over here because it clearly shows I have selected A4. So here we go, Windows Shift S. And let's come over here, screenshot. And let's come into evidence number 2, which is over here, Control V. Okay, so you can see now, let me zoom out and show you. I have 2 screenshots for evidence 2. This is the first screenshot and this is my second screenshot. Right, moving on. The 4th question says, place in the header of the document your name, center number, and candidate number left aligned. Okay, so let's go into our document. Okay, let's double click. This is the header area. So we double click and left align. So right now we are already on the left. Okay, and over here, what are we supposed to type? We're supposed to type our name, candidate number, and our center number. So for now, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 because I do not have a candidate number, nor do I have a center number. Then the text Tavara University Science in the center. So I'm going to go into the next line. So I'm going to press enter. And now you can see my cursor is in the next line. I want it to be center aligned. So home tab, center align. And I'm going to say Tavara University. Was it Tavara University Science? Okay, so that's also done. And then the image M21 image right size, right aligned, resized to 2 centimeters with aspect ratio maintained. And text wrap applied. Okay, so let's do this. M21 image right align. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to go into the next line and I'm going to right align my cursor first. Let's first right align my cursor. Now you can see my cursor is blinking on the right. Now I'm going to copy M21 image, which is over here. Control C to copy. And I'm going to come over here and Control V to paste it. So Control V and paste it. Now, of course, there is some resizing to be done over here because this image is way too big for the footer. And the question paper has also given us the size. So when you click on the image, you get a picture format tab. And I'm going to go into picture format and I'm going to come over here. And they told me very clearly in terms of what? They said 2 centimeters wide. Okay, so I'm going to come here, and here we have, this is height and this is width. I'm going to change this to 2 centimeters, 2 cm. And here you go, enter. Okay, so now it's perfectly fitting. It's inside the header, it's right aligned. Okay, and its aspect ratio has been maintained as well. You know what aspect ratio means? It means when the width changes, the height also proportionally changes with it. And that just happened. Okay, it didn't get stretched. It didn't get stretched. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so far everything is happening all right. Let's move on to the next one. So we are done with this as well. It then says place in the footer automated page numbers left aligned. So let's go into the footer. So here we are in the footer, and I need the page number to be automated page numbers, which should be left aligned. So once again, you can come into insert, and over here you have page numbers. Either you can do it in insert, or even in the header and footer tab, you have page number. You can say bottom of page, and you can choose, I want it to be on the left hand side. Okay, so there you go. Page numbers have also been inserted. And then in the next line, your file name with its full path aligned. Okay, so I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to insert the file name here. I'm not going to type it. So in the header and footer, you can choose objects that you want to place in your footer. Okay, so you can come over here and you can choose document info. In document info, you can choose file name and then keep a space, and you can also insert the file path. So there you go, file name, file path have been inserted. File path is basically the location of where your file has been saved in your computer. Okay, right. So with that, we have come to the end of the header and footer. Okay, it says make sure that all items align to the page margins. That's all right for me. Okay, everything is within the page margins. Let's have a look at the logo is also within the page margins. Okay, no other text or placeholders appear. That hasn't been, we didn't add anything else. No header or footer items overlap. That's also all right. Headers and footers are displayed on all pages. That's also happening. Every single page, the footer is there, and the header is also there. So we're good to go. So I'm going to close the header and footer now. Header and footer, I'm going to close it. Close header and footer. Right. Moving on to the next thing. It says the house style specification for paragraphs is shown in the table. These styles have been correctly applied to the document, but two do not match the house style specification. There are two that do not match it. Okay. So identify and correct the two styles that do not match the specification. Okay. So that's what we're going to do now. So you can see we have a style called lab title, and that lab title style is having the following properties. Okay. So let's go, let's right click on it, let's edit it, and let's see if it actually has these properties, because the question paper says there are two that do not match these specifications. Okay, so let's go and check them. Okay, so let's come into lab title. Lab title is over here in the home tab. We have styles. We have lab title over here. Let's right click and let's say modify. And now let's compare with the question paper if it matches. Okay, so the first thing is it should be a sans serif font, a font that does not have pointy edges. And if you come over here, they're using an Arial font, and Arial is a sans serif font. It does not have any pointy edges. Then the font size should be 20. It should be center. It should be all capitals. Let's check. So 20, it is center. It is all capitals, as you can see over here. Okay, it's all caps. Okay, you can see over here, they have mentioned all caps. So far, so good. Single line spacing, 0 before, 12 after. So you can see over here, single line spacing after 12 and before 0. So this seems to be all right. Okay, right. Let's go to the next one. The next one is lab subtitle. Let's right click on lab subtitle and let's go into modify. So when I come into lab subtitle, the first thing is it should be sans serif. It should be 18 right aligned. Okay, so it is a sans serif font. It's Arial. It does not have any pointy edges. It is size 18. It is right aligned. Okay, next, what do we need? Enhancements, there should be no enhancements. So you can see there is no enhance. It's not bold, it's not italic, it's not underlined, it's not capitals. None of that has been applied to it. Looks good. Next, single line spacing, 0 before, 12 after. So when I come over here, you can see single line spacing and 12 after. Okay, if they do not mention a value, it means before is 0. So that's also good to go. So we can say, okay, we're okay with this. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is lab subhead. Let's have a look at lab subhead. Right click, modify. Over here, what do we need? It needs to be a serif font and size 14. So serif means it needs to be pointy. It needs to be a font which has pointy edges. And it is using Times New Roman, and Times New Roman does have pointy edges. So far good. So far so good. The font size is also 14. That's also good. The next thing is it should be left aligned. It is, oh, we have a problem here. Here it is center aligned. It's supposed to be left. So let's go ahead and change it to left. Okay, it has to be left. The next thing is it should be bold and underlined. Over here, it's italic and underlined. So we don't need italic, we need bold. That's also done. It should be single line spacing, 0 before, 12 after. So when I come over here, I can see single and after is 0. So there is a problem here. So let's come and change this. So in order to change the line spacing, you have to come into format and you need to come into paragraph. Okay, so when you come into paragraph, you can see here the spacing is there before and after. So before 0, you don't need to touch it. After you need to touch, you need to make it 12 point according to the question paper. Right, that's also done. So now we can go ahead and click on OK. You can click on OK. Right, that's also done. Now we move on to the next one, lab body. So let's right click on lab body, which is over here. And let's click on modify and let's see if it matches with the question paper. So they say serif size 12 justified. So you can see Times New Roman, that's good. Left size 12, so far so good. Enhancements none, so there's no bold, italic, underline, that's good. Line spacing should be 1.5, 0 before and 12 after. So line spacing over here, you can see right now it says line spacing is single. So you can see there's a problem over here. So let's click on format and let's go into paragraph. And here over here, let's click on line spacing. We have line spacing over here. Let's change it to 1.5. And then before 0, after 12. So before is 0, after is 12. Let's make it 12. Let's say OK. Let's say OK. That's also done. Now, if you want, you could check the next one. But you see the question paper clearly told only 2 do not match it. And we found the 2. Subhead and lab body apparently were the ones. So we do not need to check bullets now because there are only 2 and we found those 2. Okay, so I'm not going to check bullets. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next part. Okay, so over here it says place in your evidence document screenshots to show how the definitions of only the styles you have created. So I hope you do remember the 2 styles that we changed. We changed subhead and we changed body. So I'm going to right click on subhead. Okay, and I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Okay, Windows Shift S. And I'm going to paste it in my evidence document. I'm going to cancel this first and go into my evidence document and paste it. So it has to be pasted under evidence 3 if I'm correct. That's right. And then I'm also going to take another screenshot of lab body. Okay, which is over here. Lab body, modify. Take a screenshot, Windows Shift S. From here to here. Come into my evidence. So I need to cancel this first. Come here and paste. Okay, so those 2 screenshots have also been pasted. Right. Enter your name immediately after the subtitle guide produced by. Okay, so let's move into our Word document, guide produced by. And after this, you need to enter your name. So I have entered my name over here. The next thing it says is change the page layout so that the subheading, vernier scales, and all the following text is displayed in 2 columns of equal width with a 1 centimeter space between them. So after vernier scales, okay, so from this point onwards, everything needs to be put into 2 columns. And the 2 columns need to have a 1 centimeter spacing between it. So I'm going to go into the layout tab and I'm going to click on columns and I'm going to go into more columns. Okay, and over here, I'm going to say I want 2 columns and I want the spacing, okay, the spacing according to the question paper of equal width with a 1 centimeter space. Okay, so over here, the width spacing, I'm going to change it to, the spacing, I'm going to change it to, how much did they tell me? 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter. Okay, and I'm going to say okay. So now the text has been broken into 2 columns as required by the question paper. Right. Now, moving on to the next one. Apply the lab bullets paragraph style to the text from the lab book is evidence to is a bound A4 book. So we need to apply this lab bullets thing. Okay, the lab book is evidence. It's from here, okay, up to here. So from here to here, let me zoom in case you cannot see. This is on the last page. Okay, so from here to here, I need to apply the lab bullets style, which is over here. Okay, so there I go. I've applied it. Okay, right. The next thing it says is format the paragraph that starts. These are just some of the items. Okay, so let's go and find this. These are just some of the items. Where do we get it? So if you come over here, let me do a search. I'm going to press Control F. Okay, these are just some. Okay, here you go. This is where it is. So I'm going to select this particular paragraph. Okay, I'm going to select this particular paragraph, and what I'm going to do is an indent of 1 centimeter from both the left and right margins. An indent of 1 centimeter from both the left and right margins. Okay, so sounds confusing. Okay, but let me show you how it works. If you do come into layout, uh, you can see right now we have the indent, which is right now 0 inches, 0 inches. Okay, but you have to select the correct paragraph so that it gets applied to the correct paragraph. Okay, right now you can see for this particular paragraph, the indentation on the left and the indentation on the right is 0 inches. According to the question paper, we have to change it to 1 centimeter. So I'm going to come over here, and left, I'm going to make it 1 cm, enter. And right, I'm also going to make it 1 cm. Okay, and you can see my computer has automatically converted 1 cm into inches, which is 0.39 inches. The next thing that needs to be done is an external single line black border. Okay, so I need to put a black border for this text, okay, which is quite simple. You come to your home tab, and over here you have borders and shading. If you can see where my cursor is right now, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say outside border. I want a border outside this text. Okay, so you can see over here, a border has been put for this particular paragraph. And the next thing that needs to happen is a light gray background fill. So this particular border needs to have a light gray background fill. So what you can do now is, if you can come into the which tab over here, if we were to select this area, and over here, right next to the borders, you can see you have shading. So you can come over here, click on it, and you can say, I want it to be light gray. There you go. You have now applied a light gray shading to this particular border. Right. The next thing it says is find the bracketed text in the document. Insert link to tutorial here and make the brackets and text bold and italic. Okay. So where do we have that? Let me search for it. What does it say? Insert link. Oops, sorry, my bad. Undo, Control Z. Insert link, which is over here. So I'm going to select it from here to here. That's what the question paper told me. And what do I do? Bold and italic. So you can say Control B for bold, Control I for italic. That's also done. The next thing that needs to be done is spell check and proofread the document. Make sure that there are no windows or orphans. Okay, so we'll come to this point. For now, we're going to spell check and proofread. So if you come into the review tab, you have spelling and grammar. So we're going to click on spelling and grammar, and wherever we come across spellings, we're going to have them corrected. So we click on spellings. Let's close this over here. We don't need this. So instructions, you can see there's a problem, and they have given us suggestions. This seems to be the correct one. So I'm going to take this. The next one, there's a problem over here. It has to be replaced with tutorials. I'm going to take this word. Micrometers seems to have a problem as well. Okay, let's change it. Multimeter seems to be all right. Okay, so I'm going to ignore this. Again, ignore it. Again, ignore. Right, and in terms of grammar, if you can see anything, evidence needs to have a full stop, resource full stop, script full stop. Ahmed, we do not need, we can ignore this one, that's just a name. Scale needs to have a comma, again, comma, okay, so seems to be okay. The next thing it says is no windows or orphans, okay? So windows or orphans is where, for example, the heading is on one page, the text is on another page, that's a problem. And then sometimes you have half the text on one page, the other half on another page. So these are what we call widows and orphans, okay? So over here, we have widows and orphans, and we should not have any of those, okay? So let's zoom out so we can see the whole document much better. So over here, we do have a problem. Okay, you can see over here, half the text is here, the other half is over here. So let's send this entire thing to the next page. I'm going to say insert page break. I have sent it to the next page. Over here, everything seems to, over here also we have a problem. I'm going to send this particular part to the next page. Okay. And now everything seems to be okay. We don't seem to have any widows or orphans over here, right? The next thing that needs to happen according to the question paper is lists are not split over two columns or pages. The list, where is our list? Our list is over here. It has not been split into two columns or two pages. It's all together. That's good. The next thing is spacing between all items is consistent. Okay, so we do have consistent spacing between all items. We didn't do anything to the spacing. That's good. The document is complete with paragraphs intact. That is also all right. Save the document using the same file name and format used in step 1, and then you have to print your document. So you click on save. Okay, and then when it comes to printing, you can click on file, or you can use the shortcut key Control P. If you press Control P, it goes into print preview. And then over here, you can choose your printer, and then you can say print. Okay, that's all you have to do. Right. Moving on to the next part. Okay, so we have then come to the end of the word processing question, or rather we say document production question. We have come to the end of that. In our next video, we will be moving on to task number 3, where we will be dealing with databases. So we will be using Microsoft Access for this particular task. Okay, see you in the next video.